In this session, we're going to cover starting to look at your windows and doors, things like that. The model's still pretty basic, but I like to start establish some windows and those kind of things, especially in these duct areas. And for the curtain wall systems, I'm going to start looking at windows as well. So if we have a good look at the elevations here, I noticed so that these panels are, for example, are sliding windows. So I'll need to make those sliding windows. And I see the pattern on this compared to elevations it received is not strictly true. So if I go and look at the elevations over here on these drawings, I can see that things don't quite tie in. So I need to go and look for some families like this type of window, which I don't know if it's there or not. I need to make sure that these windows are here. So check it on the floor plan. It looks like it's a new window, but so maybe it's not there. But in a nutshell, I've got to make these type of windows. I'm going to put some windows in the shafts, for example. I see some of these windows are all opening at the top, which doesn't correlate with this. I've got a feeling that these windows at the top open. I don't think these are sliding windows. It's very unlikely that you have sliding windows. I have a feeling that these are all top hung windows. Unlike what is shown over here. So if I look at above, this doesn't make sense. These don't make sense with those. So that's something that we all need to, in my experience, I've got a feeling that there's a top hung. These sliding windows are not great. So, okay, so let's quickly go and have a look at the models. I've made some slightly adjustments from my previous models. It's got to do with these walls. I've made them a bit thicker. So if I go to second floor, I've used a 220 external skin and a 115 internal skin, because the way this facade changes, if you go and look at the Google Earth photo, how this changes, I've got a feeling that, and especially with these objects that they've put on the wall, generally these things, you need a bit of extra brickwork to make these work. So I've got a feeling that what was represented is not strictly true. And also for like this wall going up and down here, I've got a feeling like this is a curtain wall system that sits in there, and it's got solid and it's got panels in it that open and close. So you can see there's something happening here. I've got a feeling that it's like a curtain wall system that goes up and down, and that's how we'll show it. And you can see the slab edges come through at certain areas. So you probably find that the slab comes through and it's like a curtain wall system that just sits in there with the solid panel, and that's how it's easier to build. So let's just go back to this elevation. If I have a look at these elevations, it looks like those are all top hung windows. So I'll need to make a window that works like a top hung window. Okay, so that's exactly how we're going to do it. All right, so the first thing I did, I inserted and I loaded a family. So if I go to Windows, in my family, you can see here's a whole different type. I'm going to load all these different ones for the time being. I'm going to open all of them. Okay, I'm going to try. So I'm going to insert a window. So I've inserted. So in this wall, I'm going to go and say architecture, window. And by default, these are preset to work with brick courses. So you should be good to go. So for example, here, I might insert this window in the kitchen, for example. I'll need to see how that looks and works. Yeah, and it looks like it's quite we'll have a look and see what this window looks like. So let's say insert again. So maybe let's try this window type 3, for example. No, I think this is going to be type 1. Maybe in this type 3. It might just be a long window, so I might need to incorporate another window. So I might have to make a new window type for here. So that one I can deal with and make a new window type. These are fairly easy to do if you've got an existing system to work with, which you've got here. Just adjust your view range. You might have changed this to 1500 to make it work, which is correct. And remember, this is the outside of the window always. Okay, it's got an internal sill, but that's fine. So I'm going to create some more windows, architecture. It doesn't matter which floor you create these, because they will generally duplicate. I know for a fact that these are these type windows over here. I'm going to put on the outside of the wall. That probably won't work there. Do the likewise there. So here we might have to see how this works. We might have to move these, create similar. Okay. So if we go to a section, you can see that these windows work quite well. They've been pre-set up. They're designed to work in the scenario. and I've got the kitchen window in here as well. So this window, for example, will probably be something like that. Okay, so that'll work in the kitchen. So this window will work fine. I might just have to adjust it so it's longer. These windows are just purely for fresh air that you can open it so that you can get some ventilation into those little rooms. So I'm happy with this window. It just needs to adjust its width. So I'm happy with the type of window, and we've got a little option to open. So I'm happy with these windows, and I'll copy them down. You can see here I've added them in. So it's just to basically vent these bathrooms into the shaft. Okay, so that's one problem we solved. So on this floor, we've got these curtain wall. So on my third floor, I've got these curtain walls. Now, let's go to an elevation, and I see the pattern is these get divided. So let's switch off the hide element. So these get divided into generally four options. So these windows have been preset type 1 that they don't have any mullions. If I go here, window type 1, I've specified no vertical mullions. Okay, so I've got an option where I can go and say fixed number, for example, but it means I'm going to have to make different types every time, and I don't want to do that. I could, let's just give it a go. So say now I say vertical, I want a fixed number. Okay, adjusts. Okay, this will work because I can specify the number. So I want a fixed number, adjust for mullion size, which is correct. Press apply. Okay, press OK. So now on this one, for example, I can say I want 4 mullion, so this works well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, let's make it 3. So 3 verticals. So all of these I can go and adjust very quickly. So this is a good way to do it. Okay, now if we go back, you notice they've been split halfway. So let's go look at the pattern again. So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generally. Okay, so let's just change it. It's very easy to change on the fly. So this will be 4 mullions. This will be 4. Okay, now every second one will have a window in. So that's quite easy to do. You're going to go to, and here I'm just going to say 1 segment. I'm going to put 1 there. I'm going to put 1 there. It'll automatically find the center. Okay, but it's fine. We can always align these things a bit later. They will automatically align. Okay, generally it's trying to work in the center. So let's try that again. I want 1 in the center. I want 1 segment, and I want this in the center, more or less. It's fine. I can align it with this one. So there's 1 there. There's 1 there already. So let's undo. Okay, because there's a grid there already. So here I can go and insert a mullions because there's 1 here already. Okay, let's just get rid of this. Should not have put it the whole way through. I want 1. So 1 segment. I want 1 there, and I want 1 there. And just put a mullion. Okay, it's putting a grid right across in any case. So let's say I want a grid. Okay, but I'm not going to have 1 there, and I'm not going to have 1. Okay, so let's just edit the grid. Exclude that one. Undo. So let's do that again. Okay, there we go. All right, so that worked that way. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to make a window that sits in here that will open outwards. So these work in the sense that I can now go and replace this with a top hung window. All right, so I can do the same for the rest of these. Okay, So here I need to make a window type. So if you tab until you select the glazing, for example, I'm just going to use a door in this situation. So I need to go and make a little window family that sits in there. So let's see what we have in our library already. So load family. So I'm going to go to families, UK. So I'm going to go to curtain panels. So here we've got a whole lot of existing panels that we can use already, but I'm going to go back to, I want to use my UK library. Okay. Oops. No. Okay. So I want to go to insert, load family. I want to find my UK library, which it's not finding at the moment. Okay, I found the UK library, so I want to find curtain wall panels. So in the curtain wall panels, you can see there's quite a few options that we can use. These doors, but there is a window option. Here we go. I want to window curtain wall. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna tab until I can find this one, and it should have imported it for me. Okay, so I just need to insert it correctly. Let's go to insert, load family. I want a curtain wall open. Okay, I can select this one, and now I should have a window option. Okay, so that's kind of worked. I just need to adjust the frame and maybe adjust the material to match my curtain wall system. So I'm going to go to edit family. Okay, I'm going to go to elevations. So what I need to do is this will need to change. Okay, and I'll need to change the sash width as well. That's usually about 30 mil. So go to edit type. I'm going to change the sash width to 30. Thickness is also 30. These things are quite small. And the offset I'll adjust a bit later. These, however, work in the opposite direction. So I'm going to move this down this way. Okay, I'm going to switch these off because I want symbolic lines for this. So interior and exterior, they're going to be symbolic lines. Okay, so you're going to go and say create, annotate, symbolic line, and you're going to say window. This will be window swing, elevation swing, projection, or cut, it doesn't matter. So technically, these work in this direction. Okay, that's correct. Okay, load into project. Override existing version. Okay, I just need to go and edit that again. This needs to lock and align. Okay, just want to make sure that this is, so let's do that again. This is isolate, so isolate category, create, annotate, symbolic lines, elevation swing. Okay, that's sorted out that elevation line. Okay, and I've just got to edit, and that's something that I'll probably need to adjust in here. So the sash width will be 30. Okay, that works a bit better. The next thing I need to do is just adjust where the materiality of it to match my curtain wall system. So my curtain wall system very easily. I'm just going to quickly go and find my mullions. These rectangle mullions have a certain material. So I'm going to go to family. Aluminium. Oops. Oh, come on. Control C, aluminium, press OK. Edit type. Here it depends how these have been made. Sometimes you can change the material right on the fly, which is great. Press apply. Great. So in essence, this will work well. the last thing I need to adjust is just to use a section and just to make sure that this window is working correctly. Okay, it's cutting through the wrong. Okay, so I need to make sure that this is centered correctly, which it's not because the offset is too great. So this offset center must maybe be 50. Press apply. Okay, let me just make sure. 50 might be too much. What's the difference between that and that? 5 mil, so it'll be 45 mil offset, so 45. Offset 45. Okay, that works better. So in essence, you can get an idea that's a top hung window that opens out. All right, so close that. So what's great now is I can tab, unpin, and this will automatically adjust these windows every time. So in essence, those are top hung windows, and we can do the same for all of these. Okay, so that's quite straightforward and easy because I've just used an existing family. If I adjusted it so it works with my windows. We'll tackle the doors in that a bit later, but in essence, this is starting to work well. So here I might have to put a double door in, but in essence, I'm happy with that. So these are quite easy to adjust, once again, because I've set it to have a fixed number and you can adjust the number on the fly. This one will probably have 3, but this I can adjust a bit later. And all you want to do is you just want to get the bottom ones right, because it means that going up, it's straightforward. So let's have another look at that. So I'm going to say curtain. So I want to get something in the middle. So I don't want one there. I don't want one there. I don't want one there. Done. Okay. Tab. So tab until you select the piece of glass. Tab again. Hold control down until the piece of glass is selected. Control. Unpin. Very straightforward. And then you can just insert the window. Done. All right, so that's how we're going to get these windows going. And if we start looking at the 3D model now, things are starting to come together. Don't worry about the columns. They will disappear once you start joining stuff together. Okay, things will start disappearing. It's just the floor slabs, and they just need to be adjusted correctly, and the columns need to be adjusted correctly. But in essence, the building is starting to come together now. So here we can see these are very easy to duplicate. Okay, that's good. And exactly the same thing will apply to all of these. Okay. But once you've got one system, and you can just do one and copy them around. I'll do them all manually because then I can copy them up to the floor above and below. Okay, so you just have to go and do one floor, and then most of your work is done. And it's quite easy to work on these things in 3D as well. You know, they're very user-friendly. They work well. Okay, so we'll keep looking at this elevation. So that's kind of correct. That's looking good. So that one has 3, that has 4. Okay, so this is quite easy to kind of, okay, this one has 4, so 3. Oh, so this is slowly coming together. Okay, and then in our shafts, we've got our windows appearing, and I suppose these windows will go all the way around. However, we do have a situation where the windows, if I go to Street View again, but what is nice is I've got a family that I can use already that I can adjust. So, and let's just go to over here. We look at the building. Here we've got, we could use those, we can use curtain walls again to do the same thing. We can do that. Or what we can do is we can use an actual window family for that. But I think I'm going to use a curtain wall system for all of those, for those as well. That's a different window. That we can have a look at as well, make separate. But in essence, I'm happy with the way this is working, because you can just use the same, do one, copy them, put one and copy it around, and we might just have to start introducing some sills. Okay, so the sills is the next thing that we might have to introduce. We can make a little family to do the sills a bit more detailed, because you can have a vary amount of sills. Okay, So I'm happy with how this is starting to come together. I'm kind of got that system sorted out. I'll just have to go around and sort that out. But as long as a class we understand how to do these, okay? And in our shaft we're starting to get our windows, but I'll pick a floor and complete it and copy it up. You might find the floors will repeat. Like I know for a fact these floors will probably repeat as well. Okay, so all of these windows will be the same. So I'll have to go around and go and add all of these in accordingly. But yeah, once you do one, it's starting to come together. So we just have to start putting the detail on the facades. So like this wraparounds, this feature wall that runs along here, because I can see it's got a cutout, and it might protrude a little more because it looks like it does protrude ever so slightly. Or no, it ties into this brickwork over here. Here you've got the step back happening. So it looks like this wall continues around, this feature comes back down. So there's a bit of work that needs to happen around here. And then this feature as well, how this steps back, but that also ties in with the column. So this kind of, yeah, this is very doable. And this has come around in time with that. Okay. So I've put the windows in. So I've kind of got this information going, and if you go to your elevations now, you'll notice that your elevations will start taking shape in terms of the line works there. So once we start doing the wraparounds, all of this information will start tying in nicely, and the building will start looking correctly. And I need to build some information around the stairs. I'm going to separate those into different videos. So now, because I've got this detail going, I want to start working on this ground floor feature wall. So if I reset, I've got a feature wall that sits in where this window is. There's a feature wall that wraps around the building here, and it's got like a cutout detail over here. So I'm going to show you, so that's what we're going to tackle next. Okay, I'm going to assume that this is like a detailed feature wall, and I'm going to do this on my ground floor, but I'm going to offset the wall quite a bit. So in essence, that wall sits above these columns and probably goes all the way around over here. And I can see that this line kind of ties in. So this wall actually goes from there, goes around. So I'm going to create the same wall type, so create similar. Okay, but I'm going to offset this by 3000 from ground floor, and it goes to first floor, and probably by 1000. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my core face exterior, and I'm going to change some detail in a minute. I'm going to change my cut plane to be, let's make this 4000, and I'm going to change this to be 3500. I've just changed the cut plane so it's high so I can see this. So I'm going to switch that around, So I've got a feeling this wall does something. Actually, I've got a feeling this is a different type of wall. It's a cavity in that respect. Let's go 3 view. So this wall's going to sit in this line, and it's going to go right around and tie into this facade, because it does create a step here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this level and pull this right around, create similar, and I'm going to pull this down in this direction, trim this, that, and I've got a feeling that this aligns with that. That's fine. That could occur in that facade. So I'm happy that that does happen in that respect. And I'm going to tie those two together. So align. Let's not do this. These little details where they join here, this does get tricky with Revit. So there's a lot of little techniques that we can use in this area. But we'll have a look in a minute. We can see what we can do. So like how these join. So I tend to disallow join. So if you click on this blue dot, I'm going to say disallow join. I'll show you how we join these a bit later. Okay, so in essence, I've got a feeling, and I think this will stop where the staircase terminates on this wall over here. I think this would stop over here. I'll make a wall that doesn't have the ends, so this we'll play with as well. Okay, but in essence, I think this will stop, become a 220 wall we get out. All right, so let's just go to this elevation. So this wall, it looks like it starts about over here. I'll check the dimensions now, and the wall terminates. Looks like there's a bit of a sill. So let's say there's a brick course sill. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. So let's just go to 3D view. So this match this with that. That's fine. These bits of wall you can terminate on top here. You can see they start joining up, which is what you want to see. Likewise with this bit of wall here, this will also start and terminate on top there. But it looks like there was a bit of a detail. Oh yeah, this is not worked here. So here's a bit of a mistake. So let's go to my first floor, second floor. That looks better. 3D view. Okay, so I know what the problem is. So let's unjoin this wall and that wall. And so this one needs to align flush with this. That's better. Okay, then I can use the align tool. Okay, why are these walls joining? They should not be joining. This does happen sometimes, especially with these types of facades. Oh, no, that should not be doing that. Okay, let's do this again. That's better. Align that with that's something sometimes you just got to check. It does happen from time to time. That's fine. It just means that that one's trying to join with that, so that we can pull up. So align the top of this with that. Tab, 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 tab. Just go to this view over here. Pull this up. Come on, grab the arrow. I don't want the text. Hey, sometimes, and then I can align it with this face here. Okay, and we can join those walls in a minute. We can tell them to join. Okay, but this wall needs to be a certain height. These will probably come down to there. So for now, I can just tell them to align. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a lot of work that we're going to need to do to these in any case. Okay, so this is starting to work well. We can give this a different materiality and draw a line from the facade perspective, but I'm happy with the way this is starting to work. Let's go to my elevations again. So that's kind of the correct height. So let's switch this off because I want to use brick dimension. I want to start getting these things to work in brick dimensions. That is ideal. So DI. Okay. Okay, and this C2400, that's a safer dimension. That's a typical shop front height in any case. So 2400 divided by 85 equals 28.2. So let's say 28 times by 85 equals 2380. Let's make it one more brick course. So I'll make it 29 brick courses times by 85 equals to 2465. I'm happy with that. So So in this tab, until you select the underside of that wall. So that is equals to 29 times by 85. That will work for me. And then 2974, so that needs to be brick coursed, and there's another sill. So 29 divided by 85 equals 85 times by 2974 divided by 85 equals 34 brick courses. So let's make it 35 brick courses. So tab until you select the top of that. So equals to 35 times by 85. Perfect. Okay, so that will work. Let's just switch the animation back on. Okay, it looks like let's change this one dimension. So let's switch this off, just try and get it as close to elevation. Hard elements. Okay, so here I'm going to go tab. So I wanted a brick course because these things, they masonry walls equals to 28 times by 85. There we go. Okay, 2380, 3060. Okay, that works. That works. Okay, so this is a feature wall that will wrap around and just make sure I match that with that. That's fine. We can adjust these walls in a minute to suit. Okay, so in essence, yeah, that's starting to work well, and I'm getting the correct detail, and that I'm going to match with that. Okay, so then we've got a window that sits in here, but you might find that this brickwork will come down and meet this brickwork here. Okay, so there'll be a bit of adjustment we might need to do to this wall inside. But in essence, I'm happy with the way it's working. I can change the wall type so that it will match what's going on above. Okay, and I see here we've got a bit of detail going around in any case. So let's just have a quick, but I'm happy with that. And then we can put a sill along here. It looks like we might have to incorporate a sill, but that I'll show you as well. And then we'll need to build some kind of a structure around the stair. But in essence, that detail looks good. So in a nutshell, all that I need to do is if I go to walls, okay, and I can now use a reveal to get this detail, and it'll cut away. But the reveal goes too deep because it reveals the columns, which is incorrect. And I'll need to wrap it around the corner, create similar, add, so I can add it to this wall. Okay, so now we're starting to get that kind of detail. But this reveal, I'll need to make a different type. I'll need to use a profile to make it work a bit better. But in essence, you can see to make this detail work is actually, it's quite straightforward and easy. Okay, so I've created this feature wall. I've started creating these windows. I've inserted the windows on the side. So I'm happy with the way that the detail wall is starting to work. I just need to start working on some of the reveals. Columns are in the correct location, so I'm happy with that. These windows I need to duplicate down. But from the street view, I think we're getting close. This is starting to, and I just need to make a small reveal. And I'm going to make a guess that that's a brick course. And it goes, it's 50 mil deep. And the same, we apply the same detail on all the other ones as well.